Welcome back to the series, folks. I hope you're enjoying it. Please let me know down below if you are or if you're not, and I'll see if I can change it up a bit. Today's episode is the big one, focusing on race time tips for first timers. So I've just tried to write in as much information as I can to let you guys know what the 4 off-road days are like for first timers. So let's get into it. First things first, you must ride your own race. Let people pass you if you're slower and overtake riders if you're faster. There's no point riding above your ability to keep ahead of a rider for 10 minutes and then have them eventually pass. It is, after all, an endurance event. Let them pass and ride your own pace. After the first day where the positions are settled, you will be riding alone for long periods. This is a big mental battle, and you may get to find yourself and all that jazz. There are not many signs other than gold, silver, bronze and iron on the Romaniacs tracks, but there is one other important one. It's funny, when you ride a race in Australia, you will come across danger signs like this. It might mean a rock in the grass or a small gully washout to be aware of. But if you see a danger sign like this in Romania, then pay attention, because if you don't, it'll probably mean death. They don't put them up for small issues over there. Get as much sleep as you can during the race. This means splitting it up into 2 parts. You will hopefully be finishing the days between 2 and 4 PM, so that gives you enough time to eat and sleep in the afternoon. Then you'll wake up for the main meal and the rider's brief for the next day, which is around 7 to 10 PM. You'll get to sleep again around 10:30 and set your alarm for somewhere around 4 AM. Some people get the brief recorded and they watch it back in the morning. Do not miss the rider's brief either. It contains important information about speed zones, railway crossing, liaison sections and danger points. In 2019, the shortest start from the city was a few k's away, and the longest was a 90-minute drive or ride away. The same with the finish too. Most of the time you will finish a race day a fair distance away from the city, apart from the last day where you will finish on the famous Gustarita hill climb, which is pretty much in the centre of Cebu. You won't be stopping much at all during the day, maybe 1 fuel stop in the morning and 1 in the afternoon. These are normally next to the watermelon and the water tent, and also the goggle change tent. And of course the main 20-minute midday service stop for everyone. Other than what you carry, you will have watermelon and water tents, about 3 of these per day, and at the service point. Energy bars taped to the handlebars for quick access is very common in the race. Make sure you eat the biggest breakfast you can. There will be a few hours between eating and riding, so don't worry about seeing it again on the track. You should be right. Let's talk about the mandatory 20-minute service point. When you ride into the massive vans and gazebos, you will have to find your team. This can take a minute or 2. They will then grab the bike off you and ask you if there's any issues for them to fix up. You can then start to sort yourself out. Fresh gloves, fresh helmet liner are a really good pick-me-up, and the team will have the food ready. It's really hard to eat a lot, but it is essential. You will have a sticker on your helmet which shows you the service point out time. By the time you get your stuff together and find a way out of the service, you will only have around 16 minutes to yourself. Use it wisely. You then ride to a huge TV screen in the middle of the bush and wait for your number on the screen to turn green. You can then head out for Painville Part 2. Look after that bike. You can't carry many spares, and the smallest of issues can end your day. For example, in 2019, a friend of mine dropped his bike on a branch and he ripped the high pressure fuel line. He was out for the day. Equally as important is looking after yourself. even a small ache or chafe will really piss you off when you're doing 120 k's per day. Preparation is the key. Work out these issues when you're training, not during the race. If you're stuck in the Carpathian Mountains and you've got good phone signal, then you can share your location with your team and they will try and find you and get you going again. If it's an emergency, you will have a special number to dial. Other than that, you will be passing on messages to other riders or waiting for the sweep rider, which could be well after dark. Don't forget your emergency foil blanket and lighter for a fire, which are mandatory safety items. In 2019, at one of the riders' briefs at 9 PM, Tio told us that they were still retrieving bikes and riders from the mountain.
Yeah, so first of all, thanks to our track managers from today's day. They did a quite good job. They were not here because they still have to get some bikes out of the forest. And
you do get a second chance if you fail to finish a day in Romaniacs and still be classed as a finisher and get a medal. You will have big time penalties depending on where you stop during the day, but you can still restart the next day. Bear this in mind when making some of your decisions. If this happens again though, you will get disqualified and not be able to continue. I was riding with guys that timed out early in day 1 and then again in day 2. That's a lot of money and commitment for a 50k race. It's easy to forget why we got on a bike in the first place when we wrapped up in such a massive event like this. But whether it's the fellow riders, the awesome views, the painful tough sections, or just the general vibe of the race, we must not forget to enjoy it. It may be the first of many for you, or a once in a lifetime bucket list thing. Either way, we have to take a moment and reflect on the crazy experience that is RedBull Romaniacs. And that's it. I hope you liked that episode. Give you some information. The next episode, and I think will be the last one of this series, will be about GPSs for the race specifically. So if you've got any questions, write them down below and I'll try and answer them in the GPS video. Until then, ciao for now.